All right, my little warriors, welcome back to another episode of Monday Motivation. Did I tell you guys this is my favorite time of the week? I love doing these, right? Because I love sharing ideas and I love to give you ideas that really make a difference. And over the past year, what I've seen that to make the biggest difference are these mindset habits that we're practicing. And today's no different. Today's one of the big ones, right? We've been talking about a lot of different things. And, you know, I always tell you on when I meet with new clients, I always tell them there are three things necessary for your transformation. It's like you think this is just about weight loss, but no, you can't transform your body without transforming your life. And there are three things necessary to achieve breakthrough in any area, not just weight loss, but in any area of life, whether it's family, relationship, finances, you name it. Three things necessary. Number one, you got to have a great strategy. And we've got to give a great strategy. We've given you a very simple strategy that is long-term focus, right? Eating the right foods in the right amounts at the right time, planning your tomorrow today is as simple as it can get because you can maintain that the rest of your life. And so that is what makes it a great strategy. Number two, you've got to have a powerful story. That is your why. What helps you move forward when you don't feel like it? What is that why? Why are you after what you're after? Remember, you don't get what you want, you get who you become. So who is that person you're becoming? Why is it important to you? What is that life you're creating? What is that future vision you're after? Why is that important to you? Why must you get there? Not just want it, but why must you get there? That is your why. That is the second thing that is a must for you to achieve breakthrough or transformation. What is the third? The third we talked about, right? You've got to have a way of getting through those emotional roadblocks. That emotional wall we've been talking about. When you face a wall, when you come to a wall, what do? Well, you build a freaking ladder. That's how you're going to get over that wall. Well, these emotions are no different, right? In order to create breakthrough, you've got to be able to deal with the emotional walls because these are the things that usually lead to self-sabotage. So today we're not talking about calories, we're not talking about macros, we're talking about the moments that break you. And these are the moments that break you, the moments that come out of nowhere, when life hits you with a loss, when grief grabs you by the throat, when that stress and overwhelm makes your chest feel heavy and your motivation vanishes. Yeah, these are the moments that we're going to talk about today. How do you deal with these moments? Because real transformation, right, guys, isn't about weight loss. It's about learning how to stand strong when your heart is heavy and your soul is tired. And I've been talking with a lot of you this week, and your soul is tired. Your hearts are heavy and your souls are tired because you're dealing with some big stuff. And I get it. You know, when you're dealing with loss, some of you have experienced the loss of a loved one, and that's a big thing. Some of you are dealing with, being the caretaker of a spouse who, may not be around much longer, and you have to deal with all that end of life stuff and the grief and the loss and the multiplicity of emotions that come about through that. Because when you've been with someone for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, hey, loss is a big thing and grief is a big thing, right? So how do we deal with all of this without turning to food as a crutch? These are the moments that matter. These are the moments that really define you. These are the moments that are responsible for your transformation. It's not your strategy, right? Eating the right foods in the right amounts at the right time, well, that goes out the window unless you're able to deal with the grief, deal with the loss, deal with the overwhelm, deal with the anxiety. that goes out the window, right? So you got to be able to deal with the big issues, and these are the big issues. It doesn't get any bigger than this. So here's some practical ways of dealing. Number one, you got to name it to tame it. Yeah, you got to name it to tame it. You can't fight what you won't face, right? Emotional eating isn't about hunger. It's about avoidance. And one of the most powerful things you can do when, those powerful emotions hit is to simply name it. Say it out loud. This is anger. This is sadness. This is anger. I guess it could be sanger too, right? Sadness and anger. This is anger. This is deep aching loneliness. This is grief. This is anxiety. This is overwhelm. What is it? You name it to tame it, because guess what, guys? The neuroscience shows us that when you label emotions, you weaken their power over you. Just by giving those emotions a name will weaken their power over you, right? You're putting yourself back in the driver's seat. So, the emotion you're feeling isn't dangerous. It's just data. It's just feedback. And what you do with it, that's the most important thing. So the first thing I want you to start practicing is just start practicing naming those emotions when you're feeling them. I'm feeling sad. I'm angry. I'm dealing with anxiety. This is overwhelm. Whatever you're dealing with, I want you to start by naming it. All right. The second thing I want you to do is to journal it out. You got to feel to heal. Journal it out. Right? So grab your journal. Don't numb your feeling, write about it, right? Don't feed those feelings. Learn to feel your feelings, right? Instead of feeding your feelings, learn to feel. So don't numb it, write it. You can use prompts like, what am I really needing right now besides food, right? What am I really needing right now besides food? Or what would I say to my best friend if he or she were feeling this way? What would I say to my best friend? Right? You don't need a plan. You just need a pen. Because when you express, you release. When you avoid, you repeat. Let me repeat that. When you express, you release. When you speak it, when you write it, you release. When you avoid, you repeat, because it's in there and you're just stuffing it down. And you don't want to stuff it down. You want to release it, right? So you don't need a snack. You need space to feel. Guys, you don't need a snack. You just need space to feel. It's not about food. If hunger is not the problem, then food is not the solution. So food is not the solution. Here's the third thing you need to do. You need to start building your emotional toolbox. You need to start building that emotional toolbox, right? Because guess what? In the moment, you're not really acting from your higher self. You're acting from your impulsive lower brain because you're in the middle of things. So you got to start building those emotional toolbox, right? So that when those emotions spikes, you need a new reflex, right? You start building a new reflex, a new way to cope that isn't food. And you start practicing with the small things. So when the big things show up, you can remind yourself. So here are a few things you can do. Go outside and scream in the air if you need to. Just go outside and scream. Grab a pillow and scream as loud as you can. Wrap yourself in a blanket and just cry. Give yourself a big cry. Play a song that gets it out. That is one of my favorite things. Just play a song that gets it out. Nothing helps you to go through a really sad feeling than a sad song. That sad song. Who sang that? I think it was, forgot who sang sad song. But yeah, nothing helps you to get through those emotions like music. I wrote about that in my first book, Fitness and Spirituality, the power of music to take you deeper to that place where you normally wouldn't get to. And that's the place you need to go to heal. You're not going to heal on the surface. You got to go deep. You got to get in there. right? You can leave yourself a voice memo. Just, you got these fancy smartphones for a reason, right? Learn to use them. Leave yourself a voice memo. Light a candle. Just sit there. Look at the flame. Take all your worries and everything that's coming up in your head and just feed it into that flame. Feed it into that flame. And then just put the flame out. And all there is nothing. It's a void, emptiness, nothing. Just sit in that void with no thoughts, nothing. That is a powerful martial arts technique I've learned for years and taught to my students for years. It's a top swordsman's skill to be mindless. No mind. When your mind gets in the way, well, you have no time to act. You can't be thinking. You've got to be mindless. So this is a powerful way of learning to be mindless, right? No mind. Just light that candle and feed all those thoughts and emotions into that flame. And when they're all out, just let it go and sit in the void, in the nothingness. So you can write all these down or you can make your own. Because, guys, the thing is, when your emotional wall shows up, you need something real to grab that isn't a fork. Right? Because a fork isn't going to help you to get over that wall. A fork is going to help you to turn around and start sliding backwards. And the craving isn't for food, it's for comfort, connection, relief. So give yourself the comfort, connection, relief. That is a better way of dealing with what's showing up for you. That is how you get over. You start building those rungs on your ladder to get over that emotional wall. Start practicing the 90-second rule, right? You ride the wave of those emotions by practicing the 90-second rule. And this is again brain research. Dr. Jill Taylor is one of the researchers who did research that the physical sensation of emotion only lasts about 90 seconds, right? 90 seconds, that's all. A physical sensation of most emotions only last about 90 seconds. And what keeps it alive? Your thoughts, your story, your judgment, your shame. You keep it alive by holding on to it, right? I tell you, emotions are fleeting, thoughts are fleeting. They will come and go unless you hold on to them. So the next time you feel like you're going to explode, go ahead, explode. Set a timer for 90 seconds. Breathe, be still, feel it, let it move. Do something, but go through it. Go deeper. Feel the dance. Don't try to avoid it. Go through it. You're not going to break, believe me. You're not going to break. You're stronger than you think. You can go through these big emotions. You are equipped. You are built strong. You are built strong. You're strong enough to feel anything for 90 seconds. So let that wave pass. You don't need to eat it. You don't need to hold on to it. Just let it pass. Go deep and go through it. I want you to redefine strength, right? This is grief without guilt. I want you to redefine strength, right? So sometimes you're not just tired, you're grieving. And I've talked to some clients this week who are dealing with death in the family, or you might be dealing with a breakup or a significant life change. Like I said, you're dealing with a family member who's dealing with big life or death medical situations, and all of this kind of comes as, a punch in the gut you didn't see coming. And guess what? You don't have to bounce back overnight. I want you to understand that you don't have to bounce back overnight. You don't have to be perfect, for crying out loud. You think you have to be perfect. You think you have to do this perfectly. You don't have to smile and push through. No, you don't. You don't have to be perfect. You get to fall apart. And it's okay. You get to fall apart and still keep your promises to yourself. You can do both. Strength isn't never falling. It's standing back up with grace in your, standing back up with grace and purpose. Because you've got a purpose. You're on this journey for a reason. And you don't let those walls, whether a physical wall or emotional walls, stop you. Right? You learn how to build ladders. Because if this is going to be your last time, if this is going to take you to that life, that future vision that you're creating, then nothing can stop you. Not even these big walls. They don't stop you. You just build these ladders. So let yourself grieve. Let yourself feel. Let yourself fall apart. Just don't let it pull you back into old patterns that no longer serve you. You're bigger than that. You're better than that. You've got the tools, right? You're not alone. You've got support. You've got a tribe behind you. You've got a coach. You've got a tribe. You've got an entire tribe of like-minded folks who are moving in the same direction, who are also falling and failing and getting up and moving forward. So lean on each other. Lean on me. Lean on your coach. Let's learn to lean on each other. That's what makes us stronger. When you don't have the strength yourself, then borrow someone else's. That is the process of moving forward. Stop thinking that you're in this alone. That's the old mindset. You're not in this alone. You've got a tribe behind you, and that is what's important. This is when you need to lean on that tribe. This is when you need that support, is when you're going through, when you're facing these big emotional walls. But you need to allow yourself to feel deeply and still honor your goals, right? You're strong enough. You're bold enough. You can do both. So here's the deal, guys. The next time that emotional wall shows up, and I know it's a real thing for a lot of you this week, but the next time that emotional wall shows up, don't reach for the pantry, reach for your tools, reach for truth, reach for the version of you that you're building, the one who doesn't need to escape because she's learning to endure. You don't need to escape, because you're learning to endure. You're not broken, you're becoming. And every time you feel the urge to emotionally eat, but you pause instead, you're winning a battle no one else can see. Remember, every time you feel the urge to eat emotionally, but instead you pause, you put some distance between the urge and the action. You're winning a battle that no one else can see, and I'm proud of you. Now you go be the warrior that you are and rise, because this is your journey, right? And you're strong enough. So stay strong, stay kind to yourself, keep rising, and just know that you've got this. I believe in you. Now go believe in yourself.